You tell me how a president in the middle of a pandemic has got time for this bullshit. Are you kidding me? Hawking products, Goy, I don't care who it is. Resolute desk. This is what he's resolute about. Pandemic priorities. His daughter Ivanka, top White House advisor. Are you kidding me? Marketing for a brand following calls for boycotts after Goya's CEO heaped praise on Trump last week. On your dime, in the middle of a pandemic, they're selling beans.
They're selling beans.
Are you kidding me? Seriously. This is not left and right. This is reasonable, my brothers and sisters. The guy's sitting on the Resolute desk with a bunch of Goya products.
He's selling beans. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 304 of The Report. And that was Chris Cuomo, man, of CNN. Y'all can tell Chris Cuomo post-COVID-19 is fed the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't having any of that shit coming from President Trump, man. Real talk. I can't believe I just said that. President fucking Trump. Who the fuck? What the fuck, man? What's going on? But yo, man, it's been a long week, man. It's been a long week. We got a lot of shit to cover, so I'm gonna try to get through this as efficiently as possible. Today's show is like kind of running late. Normally I do these shows on a Saturday, like early afternoons and shit, but like it's like Saturday evening and whatnot. I'm trying not to spend too much time on this, but you know, we got to get through this, right? So before we do all of that, I do have to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. It's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages, and of course, the messages will get played here live on the show, responded to in kind. And if you're watching us here live on Facebook and or YouTube, you can hit up that hotline and chop it up with your man Spann while we're doing the show, right? So hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So you can go ahead and follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there and watch replays of the show. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. You can also leave comments there, vote in the polls over there. There's a lot of things over there at the Spann Report Podcast Network's website. So go ahead and get all of your podcast needs met over there. Also, for those of you who are listening to us via iTunes, Stitcher Radio, Podcast Addict, leave us a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that we read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. It doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But yo, man, I think that's everything. If not, then we'll catch it on the next groove. But yo, man, like I said, it's been a long week, long, especially at the job, man. I've been dealing with some really unsanitary conditions in the workplace, man. Having a real hard time like processing some of the shit I've seen and some of the conditions that I've seen people living in this week. And I don't know how to like rightly articulate like how I feel about it right now, man. Like I said something a little bit on it on Facebook, and I don't necessarily know if I articulated it correctly. But it was I just say that like it just didn't sit well with me, what I've seen and how I've seen people having to live. It's yeah, man, some traumatizing shit. Like you had to like see it. And it's been rough, man, for real. Not only that, there's just been like a whole lot of shit going on this week, pop culture wise, politically, and a lot of the current events or whatever. And we're going to try to tackle quite a bit of that on the show here today. But before we do that, of course, I got a couple random thoughts, man, something to kind of maybe lighten the mood. You know what I mean? And, these are some of the like odd and weird things I think about over the course of the week, man. One of the things I was thinking about was, who else other than your man Spann, right, actually like eats and loves egg salad, but not only that, uses the egg salad as like a potato chip dip when you consuming it. Now, I said this on Facebook, And there was a couple people that was riding with your boy. You know what I'm saying? There was a couple people that like, you know what? I thought that's what they made the shit for. You know what I'm saying? That sounded like a good idea to me. And then, the vast majority of you niggas who had never tried it, you know what I'm saying? Giving me all the memes of how nasty y'all think it is, how disgusting you thought it was gonna be. And shout out to my man Richard, who was like, yo, man, it just sounds like this gonna give me the BGs, man. I'm gonna tear my toilet down, you know what I'm saying? And you know what? You might be right. You know what I'm saying? Because after the egg salad, you might air a room out after the egg salad. But I'm telling you this right now, man. The egg salad with some ruffled Lays or Ruffles, like Ripples, whatever the fuck. Get you some ones with the ridges in it. Get you the chips with the ridges, because the shit, if you get the regular chips, they're just gonna break off in the egg salad, man. Get you something that got a little oomph to it. You know what I'm saying? So you can scoop some of that egg salad up out of there with that potato chip, man. I'm telling you, that's some good eating, man. That's some good eating. I don't know if that's like good old eating though. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, your man Spann to turn 40 or whatever. Leaning to them uncle vibes, man. But yo, man, egg salad with the potato chips. It's some good shit, man. You heard it here first. That's all I'm gonna say, right? You heard it here first. Another thing I was thinking about this week, man. As I was like, it was Throwback Thursday and stuff, and I was thinking about like posting some old pictures of me, from like when I was younger. I logged into my old Black Planet page and shit, saw some old pictures. I was like, man, I was a sullen motherfucker on a lot of those pictures, right? But I was thinking to myself, I was like, yo, man, when was the last time, fellas? This is a question for y'all though, fellas. When was the last time you posed for a picture and you did absolutely nothing with your hands? Right? Like you didn't throw up like no gang signs, or you weren't throwing up no gang signs, nothing like that. You didn't have to like, salute or no shit like that. Your hands was like just kind of like there and shit. Because that's the thing, like with taking pictures or whatnot, right? Like when I take pictures, like if I'm just standing there, I feel like my hands should be doing something. Like when you see ladies taking pictures or whatnot, they do shit with their hands, like, but a lot of times, like, they might put their hands on their hip, or they might be carrying a bag or something, it's part of the whole aesthetic. But like fellas, we feel like, like I gotta be doing something with these motherfuckers, man. I got to do something. And a lot of times that, that ends up in like somebody throwing up the peace sign, or nigga 40 years old and he flipping the bird in a picture and shit. You know what I'm saying? So like fellas, when was the last time you took a picture and you posed for a picture and you did absolutely nothing with your hands? Now, I know a few of the fellas on Facebook told me they had taken some pictures and they hadn't done anything with their hands, but I was looking at the picture like, nigga, you doing something. Like that's supposed to, you know what I'm saying? I don't know the rules to this, but it was just something I was thinking about, man. When was the last time, fellas, you took a picture and you did nothing with your hands? That's something like that. That's the thing. Another thing I was kind of thinking about this week, man. So I've been listening to, I've been like going through this transition. Like Google Play Music is going away, right? Like I was one of the first people that was like using Google Play Music before it was like a whole ass streaming service. Google Play Music used to be like a locker, like a music locker. So like all of the music that you had on your computer or whatever, you could automatically upload it to Google Play Music, and like you could take your music wherever you was going. So no matter what phone you had, so long as you had the Google Play Music app, you had access to your music, right? And then they like expanded it to like you could buy music from artists or whatever, excuse me, from the service. And like it became like a streaming service, much like Spotify, iTunes and everything else. But it's going away, and the transitioning into YouTube Music, right? And so I've been like fiddling with the YouTube Music or whatever, and lo and behold, 8Ball and MJG came up in my recommendations or whatever, right? I fucks with 8Ball and MJG, them some OGs in the game, and I used to rock it out with their shit all the time, right? And like the one song, "You Don't Want Drama," came on, right? And I gotta ask y'all, like maybe it's somebody who listens to the show who maybe has some connections with them. Did them niggas get the help that they needed, man? Did they get the counseling? Did somebody embrace them and hug them? Because them niggas was angry as fuck on that song, bruh. They was angry as hell. Bust a nigga head, smack a hoe, shoot the club up. Those were the lyrics to the hook, man. Bust a nigga head, slap a hoe, shoot the club up. I'm just saying, man, that is aggressive and like fucking just. I hope they got the help. I hope they got the help that they really did seem to need after that song came out, man, because that's a lot. That's a lot. So, yo, man, those have been my random thoughts, man, for real. But, yo, it's time for us to get into the news. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Now, our first story here in the news would, at a certain point in time, be considered Blue Blazes news, right? But nah, man, this is like some local shit that's happening in Detroit, man. It's been some crazy shit happening in Michigan. Like, I'm starting to feel like Michigan is becoming like the Mississippi of the North, man. We got a lot of wild and crazy. I'm sorry, not Michigan, Mississippi, the Florida of the North, right? You know how you got Florida man and shit. Well, the Michigan man did this today, right? So, I get this first story here. I believe this comes out of my Fox Detroit. Let me pull this story up so I can share this here with you guys. Here we go. Yeah, oh, this comes out of clickondetroit.com. Okay. So let me pull this up because I think there's video attached to this. And I want y'all to see this shit and laugh just as much as I laughed when I saw it. All right. Here we go. Let me pull this up so y'all can watch with me. All righty. Check this out, y'all.
Hand sanitizer is in high demand these days, and that's why one Oakland County restaurant wants to track down the couple that took the hand sanitizing station from the restaurant. It happened at India Flavors on Orchard Lake Road in Farmington Hills. Grant Herm's report, the owner says it's not about the money, it's about how difficult it was to get one.
India Flavors in Farmington Hills has worked hard to make their experience touchless, so they couldn't believe their eyes when they saw someone steal right from their front door.
The security camera catches it all. A man and a woman walk into the restaurant and use the hand sanitizing station. A few minutes later, he walks back into the entryway and lifts up the sanitizer.
Hold up. My man looked back at the hand sanitizer thing like it was like a nice ass couch or something. So he put his hands up underneath the thing, get the hand sanitizer, he rubbing his hand, but he looked back at it like, oh, that shit kind of nice. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Appearing to look around for cameras, not noticing the one capturing his every move. On their way out, the woman holds the door as the man takes the station and the couple simply walks out.
Oh my God, this 2020, this pandemic is so devastating for this restaurant business. And that costed not big, like $300, but to get that, it took 2 months from Canada.
The owners say they've spent thousands on touchless upgrades, hoping to keep the restaurant open, and say normally they don't have to worry about customers or even locking the door.
This restaurant is here for 4 years. People come, we have charging stations, very expensive iPhones. Just they throw on those stations.
In the end, it's not about how much the sanitizer cost. It's about peace of mind in the middle of a pandemic.
No, man, real talk. Hold up. Yeah, I get them, with the whole, it ain't about how much it costs shit, but like, nigga, just on some common decency shit, like, bro, you still in the hand sanitizer dispenser. Like the hand sanitizer dispenser. What you gonna do? You gonna set that bitch up into like on your porch? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey man, we got rules over here. Wear your mask, take your shoes off, get you some hand sanitizer before you ring my doorbell. Don't even touch my doorbell without getting your hand sanitizer on. I got this expensive ass hand sanitizer dispenser right there for your usage. You know what I'm saying? Highfalutin shit. Use it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and he looked like somebody's uncle. You know what I'm saying? He dressed like somebody's uncle. He got like those and1 slides, not like the slides like the flip flops, but the ones that like the mock that you just kind of slide on and shit. He looked like somebody's uncle right here, like the big long fucking white tee or whatever. Like that. Well, no, that looked like kind of like beige. Maybe that's a beige tee. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like he looked like somebody's uncle, and he out here stealing a fucking hand sanitizer dispenser, bro. Like, yeah, it ain't about the money. It's just like, nigga, who does that? Who the fuck does that?
These things should not be happening in the restaurants. We are struggling to pay salaries, pay rents, and all that. Please, don't do that.
They have filed a police report, and they're hoping this thief is caught soon. In Farmington Hills, Grant Herms, Local 4.
All right, man. I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Somebody go get your Uncle Charles and your auntie Cheryl, tell them to bring the shit back. Tell them to bring the shit back, man. That is not cool. That is not cool for them to be out here in Farmington Hills stealing hand sanitizer dispensers, man. It's not a good look. It is not a good look. But, yo, that's in the news, man. That's in the news. Another story, this is also out of the Michigan area. A Michigan man pulls a knife. No, seriously, a Michigan man pulled a knife on some store clerks after they asked him to wear a goddamn mask in the store. Yeah, man. So we get this story here. This comes out of the Detroit News. And it says the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's deputies are looking for a man accused of an assault at a Meijer store Sunday. Officials said the incident happened at about 2 p.m. at the store in Acme Township, about 10 miles east of Traverse City. Deputies released a photograph of the man and asked anyone with information about him and his whereabouts to call Deputy Dave Suhi at 231-995-5000. So they did release a photo of this dude. And yeah, he looks just like y'all would expect him to look. Let me pull this up so y'all can see him. Here we go. I think we may be able to let's see if we can expand this photo. Let's see if we can do that. Does it expand? No, it doesn't expand. But he's a white dude, red hair, wearing a blue t-shirt. Looks like he maybe weighs about anywhere between 250 to 300 pounds. And they caught him in the Acme Township area of Michigan. So if you have information that could lead to the apprehension of this dangerous individual, call Deputy Dave Suhi at 231-995-5000. Yeah, man. Let's do our public duties and shit, because this is crazy. They asked the motherfucker to wear a mask. It's the law here now. Wear your fucking mask, bro. I don't get it. He pulled a knife on these people. But it says part of the story, though. Part of the story was he said, according to the Traverse City Record Eagle, the man brandished a knife at a store employee after she asked him to wear a face covering while in the store to help fight the spread of COVID-19. Lieutenant Chris Osei of the Grand Traverse County Sheriff's Office said Monday no one was injured in the incident, and deputies continue to search for the man to get his version of what happened. He said the store's employees asked the man at least 3 times to put on a face covering to comply with store policy. The man allegedly told the worker that requiring him to wear a mask violated his rights, and he refused to do it. He then reached into his pocket, pulled out a folding knife, and opened it to expose the blade and showed it to her, the lieutenant said. Now, again, you go into a private entity, you go into a store like a Meijer or a Farmer, no, they don't have Farmer Jackson anymore, or a Walmart or a Target or whatever else. They ask you to wear a mask and you talk about them violating your rights. Listen, they don't have to serve you. As a private entity, they don't have to serve you. As a matter of fact, these are some of the same people when it came to those bakeries that were denying gay couples the services to make cakes for their weddings and shit, who were saying, yeah, go someplace else. You're violating their religious liberties and you're violating their rights to First Amendment. Listen, dude, if y'all going to apply that logic, apply it across the board, apply it evenly. Hey, you don't want to wear a mask? Cool. Get the fuck on. Right? Find yourself someplace else to go. Now, here in Michigan, as the governor has mandated that, in public places like a store, like a Meijer or a Target or whatever else, you are required to wear a mask when you enter those places. So it even takes it out of the hands of the establishments to enforce this, because all right, it's store policy. And now we got these people who aren't getting paid enough to enforce this shit, but now they got the back end of the state in order to say, listen, if somebody violates this, then there could be fines meted out and everything else. I believe it's up to $500 here in Michigan. But to go in there and start threatening people with a knife, yeah, man, that's crazy. That's crazy. But that's in the news, man. People are out here just acting a goddamn ass, man. That's in the news. Now, another story that we got here in the news, man, is Kanye West has apparently dropped out of the 2020 presidential race.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
Shout out to everybody who fell for the bullshit. But we get this story here. This comes out of hip-hop news. hotnewhiphop.com. This is some new shit. I ain't never heard of this website before. But apparently they write in to say that, that was short-lived. 2 weeks ago, Kanye West announced that he would be running to become president of the United States in 2020. Unveiling his campaign goals, West preached an anti-vaccination and anti-abortion stance, which divided his fan base even further. He was already too late to run. He was already too late to run in 6 states, and with the deadline rapidly approaching in several others, West made a last-ditch effort to get his name added to the ballot in Florida and South Carolina. Apparently, it all ended up being too much for him because, according to the Intelligencer, he decided to bow out gracefully. Getting their information from multiple campaign professionals, Intelligencer reported that Kanye had taken steps to have his name included on the ballot as a third-party candidate. The outlet had learned from somebody on Ye's team that he would be spending time in Florida to get the required number of signatures to be added to the ballot. That would have meant 132,781 signatures in less than a week to hit the July 15th deadline. Steve Kramer, who was hired by Kanye's team to assist him in being added to the voting card, said that the rapper was working over the weekend in Florida, formalizing the FEC, which is the Federal Election Commission. However, it looks like the plan was just too overwhelming because, according to Kramer, Kanye is now out of the race. Now, I'm just going to say this. I may have said it last week. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But for those of you who believe that Kanye West has a snowball's chance in hell of winning the presidency of the United States, I got a bridge in Detroit to sell you. 2 of them, in fact. Right? No way in hell. If you don't see this for what it is, as a publicity stunt that it is, I don't know what to tell you. And so I know last week I kind of talked about Forbes because Forbes, did this fucking profile piece on him, concerning his alleged run for the presidency of the United States. And it's like, why are they indulging Kanye like this? Because it's clear that Kanye isn't a serious candidate whatsoever. And I know a lot of folks are like, yo, but we said the same thing about Donald Trump, this, that, and the others. Like, y'all forget that Donald Trump had been running for president almost a year prior to the election. Almost 2 years. These election cycles are damn near 2 years now. People jump into the race a year and a half before it's time for us to go vote for the shit. We got 4 months before we go to vote. If you think that Kanye West is about to garner any significant amount of the voting populace in less than 4 months, I don't know what to tell you, man. I really don't. And this idea that black people were suddenly, because Kanye jumped into the race, was going to just jump on the Kanye bandwagon. It's like, do y'all know black people? Do y'all know black people? Because black people aren't dumb voters, man. Ask anybody, ask Ben Carson how black voters came through for him. Ask Alan Keyes how black voters came through for him. If Candace Owens decided that she was going to vote, like she was going to try to run for public office, you think she had black voters that were going to step through and come through for her? It ain't because he's black. It's because of the policies that they're promoting. And if you think that black people are just going to vote for somebody because they black and in the race, you stupid. There's no other way to put that. You stupid. And you think black people are stupid. We not. You think black voters are stupid. We ain't. So yeah, man, Kanye West decided that he was going to try to run for office. He's missed a bunch of deadlines, and somebody on his team is saying that he's basically out of the race. But there's breaking news. All right. So apparently Kanye West did file paperwork with the FEC, and he actually did get on the ballot in Oklahoma. All right, we get this story here. This comes out of people.com. It says Kanye West meant what he said. Less than 2 weeks after tweeting that he was running for president this year, the 43-year-old rapper and designer has filed his first official paperwork about his campaign. People confirms. A West representative filed paperwork in Oklahoma on Wednesday to qualify him to run as an independent in the November ballot, according to a spokesman for the state's election board. She said West paid the required $35,000 filing fee and also submitted a statement of candidacy. Wednesday was the last day for candidates to file in Oklahoma in order to appear on November's ballot there. A copy of the paperwork shows at the top of his statement of candidacy in Oklahoma, someone wrote Donda's place. West's late mother, Donda, was born in Oklahoma. Okay. Separately, on Wednesday, West's team appeared to have filed a statement of organization with the Federal Election Commission, designating his principal campaign committee as Kanye 2020. The form reviewed by people listed office West is seeking as the presidency in his political party as BDY, which is seemingly a reference to the birthday party, which West mentioned in a recent Forbes interview. The FEC form names an Andre Bodiford as treasurer of the committee, which is the official group that raises and spends money on behalf of West's candidacy. A message left that Bodiford's listed number was not returned. A spokesman for West did not respond to people's request for comment. And then early Thursday, West appeared to have filed his statement for candidacy which under federal law would make him a presidential candidate. So, yeah, he got on the ballot in Oklahoma. He's missed the ballot on 6 other states. Probably won't make the ballot on Florida. If you think he had a shot in chance, like a chance in hell of being president of the United States, again, like I said, I got a couple bridges in Detroit to sell you because it just ain't happening, man. For real, it just ain't. But yo, man, that has been the news. But y'all know what time it is.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
All right, our first story here in Blue Blazes is we just got finished talking about Kanye and his alleged run for the presidency of the United States. But he's not alone in thinking he got a chance. Apparently, Chance the Rapper, another Chicago area rapper, tends to believe that Kanye West does have a shot, and he's wondering why everybody else doesn't. Yeah, man, we get this out of the dailybeast.com. It says Chance the Rapper's Kanye 2020 endorsement makes him the internet laughingstock. 2 years after his embarrassing defense of the then MAGA rapping Kanye West, followed by a lengthy Notes app apology, Chance the Rapper has decided to die on yet another hill, defending his rap mentor's uninformed stunt-based politics. On Monday morning, the Chicago rapper and activist took to Twitter to ask his 8 million followers whether they supported the Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden over West, who tweeted that he was running for president on the 4th of July and elaborated on his bizarre platform in a recent Forbes interview. Are you more pro-Biden or anti-Ye, and why? Chance tweeted, I get that you'll want to reply that you're just trying to get Trump out, but in this hypothetical scenario where you're replacing Trump, can someone explain why Joe Biden would be better? Minutes later, he followed that query with an even more befuddling tweet. I finally got the answer now. I understand. Y'all trust Biden way more than y'all trust Ye. I think I understand why. I just don't feel the same way. As one would expect, much of the internet responded to these tweets with question marks, hysterical laughing gifs, and instructions to read a book simply because Chance's remarks are so ill-defined. It's hard to tell who he's even aiming his passive-aggressive frustration at. For one thing, the dichotomy he presents of pro-Biden and anti-Ye ignores a substantial group of young, multiracial, working-class people, many former Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren supporters who either refuse to vote for Biden this November or are less than enthusiastic to do so, but also find West's presidential bid repugnant and frankly unrealistic. I'm going to just say this right now. The dude has no qualifications for the job. How about that? None whatsoever. The idea that we could just throw someone who's got a name and some celebrity behind them into the position of running the nation is an asinine one. It's part of the reason why we're dealing with a lot of the bullshit we're dealing with right now, because we got a former fucking game show host, 6-time bankrupt casino owner running the fucking show. I could trust Kanye West to give me a dope beat. I can trust Kanye West to give us a dope verse. I cannot trust Kanye West with running the goddamn the economy. I can't trust Kanye West with knowing how to navigate the civil rights movement or the civil rights legislation. I can't trust Kanye West on women's rights. The man has already came out and said he's anti-abortion. That's a women's issue. Why in the fuck would I decide to just say, well, fuck it, Kanye put out a dope album, he got to be president? Some of y'all like them damn shoes. He got to be president. It's an asinine fucking question to ask. And the tripped out part about this is that Chance only backed up off of it when it became a thing where, like, I think, what's my man's name? Terry Crews. He thought that Terry Crews was agreeing with him. And right now, Terry Crews is seen as like sort of a pariah in like black circles, especially on Black Twitter. And once you see that Terry Crews is like, yo, on your team, you're like, I don't know. All right, man, y'all got me. Shit, if this nigga is on my team, I don't know what the fuck. You know what I'm saying? And so with Chance just deciding that, you know, it's about y'all being more anti-Ye, is like, nigga, Ye has not shown us anything that deems him worthy to be president of the United States. Y'all got to stop worshiping these fucking celebrities, man. It's that sort of thing, man, where we just think that somebody who's got name recognition, somebody who's got fame, someone who's got money, that automatically qualifies them from that position. And it shouldn't. But apparently some of y'all believe it does. And if you believe that Kanye West is qualified to be president, then damn it, I don't want to hear y'all talk shit about these Trump supporters because they believe the same dumb shit that you do. So yeah, man. Chance the Rapper he got caught. He been catching it, and rightfully so, man. That's just dumb, bro. That's just stupid. But yo, that's in Blue Blazers. Now, another story that we got here in Blue Blazers is that we've been talking about people not wearing their mask when they go into the stores and shit, right? Apparently, people feel like you're violating their rights when you go into a store. You ask them to wear a mask. And my man Rod said this best. He's like, you know, they should have told people that wearing a mask will protect them. And you know, because of this, like the selfish nature of most of us, like, yo, if I'm gonna protect me, I'm gonna wear this mask or whatever. But the minute they told Americans that Americans should be wearing a mask because it's gonna protect everybody else, then because we don't give a fuck about everybody else, we say fuck it, we're not gonna wear a mask, right? And so, like, that's the attitude, because you hear how these people are talking. You're violating my rights. I should be able to not wear a mask. I come in here all the time. I spend a lot of money with you people. I come in here all the time. I shouldn't have to wear this goddamn thing on my face, man. Right? But apparently this dude was in Puerto Rico, went to a grocery store. They asked him to wear a mask. He decided that he was going to spit in the face of the people who asked him to wear a mask. But it didn't work out well for my man because somebody bust him in the motherfucking mouth.
You shouldn't have been talking shit.
Yeah, man. So we got this story here. This, I believe, let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. This comes out of Raw Story. All right, let's go to Raw Story and see what they're talking about. And let's see. It says a tourist staying in Puerto Rico allegedly spit on a grocery store employee. Oh my God. Okay, so let me whitelist these motherfuckers so they can let me watch this damn read this ad. Jesus Christ. All right. Let's get back to the shit. A tourist staying in Puerto Rico allegedly spit on a grocery store employee who asked him to put on a face mask and then wound up getting hit right in the face. The police say that a man named William Martin Drew went to an Econo grocery store in Rincon, Puerto Rico on Tuesday night while wearing a mask that was dangling around his neck and not covering his face. An employee then asked the man to put it on. Police say the man became aggressive and spat on him, after which he got hit in the face by a security guard. In a phone camera video recorded by Drew in the aftermath of the incident, the American tourist shows that he has a mouthful of blood after getting hit, and he warned the employees that the police will be coming to arrest the man who hit him. The cops are coming right now and to get this piece of shit arrested, he said while pointing at the employee. Drew claimed he had been hit by a golf club, although police made no specific mention of a golf club in the report on the incident. However, according to Univision, Drew was arrested and is due to report in Aguadilla court at a later date. And there's video of this, so let me go ahead and pull up the video so y'all can check it out right along with your man Spann. Here we go. Wait, damn it. Didn't do that right. All right, y'all. Here we go. Check him out.
Yeah, guys, here, how's it going, man? I'm at Econo. Check this shit out. Fucking guy just assaulted me with a golf club. See that piece of shit right there? That's the fucking piece of shit you gotta watch out for.
Ah, come on, man. Are you serious? Let's do this again. Oh, this sucks. Oh, this sucks. Did they take the video down or something? I believe they may have taken the video down. Let's try this one more time. Let's try this one more time.
Yeah, guys, here, how's it going, man? I'm at Econo. Check this shit out. Fucking guy just assaulted me with a golf club. See that piece of shit right there? That's the fucking piece of shit you gotta watch out for when you come around here carrying a motherfucking golf club shaft like he's some fucking tough guy. So he decided to blast me in the fucking mouth. So check it out. Yeah. The cops are coming right now. Get this piece of shit arrested.
All right. So I got a question for anybody. Like, what is it with the guys that don't want to wear the mask and stuff? Like this idea that everybody else isn't a tough guy, but they are. Like, remember there was that guy that went to Sam's Club, I believe it was, or one of the like those warehouse stores and shit. and like there was a clerk that asked him like to wear a mask, and he decided he wasn't going to wear a mask, so the clerk took his cart. They're like, "No, all right, so you ain't welcome here. Get the fuck out of the store," pretty much. And the guy was like, "Yeah, he's acting like a pussy ass bitch," but it's like, dude, you the one that's standing there without the shit that you came there to get. Who's the pussy ass bitch in this situation? And much like that, this guy here is saying, "Yeah, this fucking guy, he thinks he's tough and shit," and he decided to blast me in the mouth. Like, well, apparently he was tough, bro. Because you ain't doing shit but talking about it. It ain't like y'all had a continuing fucking battle. You on your phone talking about it, talking about you called the police. Apparently the guy might be pretty fucking tough. And you out there with a busted mouth. You know what I'm saying? And you the one that got arrested. You know? So like, I'm not understanding the level of cognitive dissonance it takes for these people to get on these videos and act like they're the victims in this situation. You are not. People are fed up with y'all shit. And it's coming to a point where like things are starting to get physical, man. Like it's crazy how things are getting, especially considering you're supposed to wear the mask so that nobody gets the shit, right? Everybody's supposed to be like doing this as a team effort. We Americans, right? America, team effort. But y'all don't want to wear y'all damn mask to help other Americans not get the shit. It's crazy, man. But yo, that's in Blue Blazes, man. Now another story that we got here in Blue Blazes has to do with another washed up game show host, this time Chuck Woolery. Chuck Woolery, formerly of the show, I believe it was like Love Connection. I think he used to host Love Connection years ago, man. But Chuck Woolery has now become a conservative troll on these Twitter streets. And he was on the Twitter telling people that, like, you know, COVID-19 is sort of a hoax and not to believe the officials and the scientists or whatever. They lying about everything. Come to find out, Chuck Woolery's son just announced that he got the COVID-19.
Ho, brother. Whoa. Now, you got too much dip on your chip.
Yeah, man. So we get this story here. This comes out of talkingpointsmemo.com. It says conservative commentator and ex-Wheel of Fortune. He used to host the fucking Wheel of Fortune. See, as old as I think I am, the only Wheel of Fortune host I know is Pat Sajak and Vanna White. They've been doing that shit for as long as I can remember. I had no clue Chuck Woolery had anything to do with that show. But from whom President Trump retweeted an unhinged post accusing health experts of lying about COVID-19, deleted his Twitter account after revealing that his son had got infected with the virus. So check this out. So he tweets the shit. His son has it after he tweets that shit. And so now he can't take the roasting that he's about to get on these Twitter streets after he's out here talking he out here talking cash shit, y'all. Talking cash shit. But he deletes the Twitter after he had to announce that his son had it. Because he couldn't face being inundated with people like, so we told your dumb ass. We tried to tell you. You ain't want to listen. We told you though. You ain't want to listen. It says on Sunday, Woolery tweeted a screed baselessly claiming that doctors in the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention were conspiring with Democrats and the media to sabotage Trump with outrageous lies about COVID-19. Everyone is lying. The CDC, the media, Democrats, our doctors, not all, but most, that we are told to trust, Woolery wrote. I think it's all about the election and keeping the economy from coming back, which is about the election. Trump retweeted the false conspiracy theory the next day without comment. But in a dizzying about face several hours after Trump's retweet, Woolery issued a post suddenly affirming the existence of the coronavirus on Monday. To further clarify and add perspective to COVID-19, that COVID-19 is real and is here, the conservative firebrand retweeted that my son tested positive for the virus, and I feel for those suffering and especially for those who have lost loved ones. So, who's lying? Who's lying? And and the other part about this is that it should not take someone of your own family to die before, or not even die, catch this disease before you decided this is something that you should take seriously, right? At this point in the game, I believe everybody should be taking this, sort of seriously. And it's weird though, right? So I've talked about I remember when the COVID-19 it hit Michigan, and Michigan was getting hit with some significant numbers, and how careful we were at my job and stuff to you had a whole bunch of guys who you would thought it was some pretty conservative dudes with they don't want to go in nobody's house. They didn't want to have any meetings. We cut down our weekly meetings and stuff. We don't even have those weekly meetings anymore because it would be a room with 100 motherfuckers in it. You know what I'm saying? So like we cut the meetings and shit out. We start wearing masks. Guys started like sanitizing their trucks. Every time you got in a truck, you spraying hand sanitizer and shit all in the truck and whatnot. And like dudes was like, yo, we gotta have face masks. We gotta have, face shields and guards and all this other stuff. We gotta have all these special kinds of gloves and everything. Like people were taking this shit seriously in March. And now here we are in like July. And some of the same people who were adamant about taking it seriously in March have become comfortable, right? Maybe no one that they know has contracted the disease and they don't necessarily take it seriously. Or it hasn't happened to them yet. And we've been dealing with this since, the early part of the year. And they're like, well, maybe I'm not going to catch it. Or maybe I did catch it and I was asymptomatic and my body fought it off and I'm good. Right. Despite the fact that we don't know if, you can have a second infection of COVID-19 or not, or a second infection of the coronavirus or whatever, like, because we don't know that. And so, this sort of rhetoric, though, it starts becoming a thing where it becomes a thing like you can identify the people who are adhering to some of the precautions and those who are like flouting the precautions based upon where they lie politically. And Chuck Woolery was out here talking this conspiracy bullshit because of where he lied politically until it hit his own fucking house. Until it hit his own house. There was a guy on Facebook, right? It's been going viral now. I thought about this, like, running the whole article and all this other shit, and then I just thought against it. I'm like, well, fuck it. But there was a guy on Twitter, I'm sorry, Facebook, who was he was adamant about not wearing a mask. I refused to buy a mask. I refused to even buy into all the hype and all this other shit. Come to find out later, he ended up with COVID-19 and he was posting through it, talking about how hard it was for him to breathe and how sick he was and how bad he was feeling. And then he died from COVID-19, something that he probably did not have to die from had he taken this shit seriously. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'm almost convinced at this point that, like, to be a part of the, like, to buy into some of these Republican talking points a lot of times is tantamount to being a part of a fucking death cult. Why else would you decide that you would not take precautions for your own health because you think that people are lying to you? You, who the fuck are you to keep you from keeping America's economy strong? And then we see all these other countries, right? We see all these other countries who are like, their sports are coming back. They got baseball and shit happening. Soccer and shit is happening. The schools are opening back up and everything. And then, like, what's happening here in America, they're like, we want that shit to happen too because we're America. We number one. But we haven't done the work. We haven't done the work. It's like when your mama tell you can't go outside and play until you do all your homework, right? Meanwhile, all your friends and shit, they done did their homework. You in the house bullshitting because you feel like you really shouldn't have to do this shit. But you don't get to go outside because you ain't finished your work. And that's where America is right now. We haven't taken this shit seriously as a country from jump. There was some counties, there was some states that were trying to lock down and everything. You had New York and California and New Jersey who were dealing with this shit. Michigan was a hot spot for a long time. And then you had other states that was like Alabama, like Georgia, like Florida, who were like, yo, man, fuck that shit. We good. We opened up. We got the beaches open and everything. And now they are the hot spots. You got to be part of a death cult in order to think that, like, everything is only up and up. We have not done the work to open this country back up in the way that we should. And then you got an administration like with Betsy DeVos saying, well, we need to open the schools back up. You're like, well, so what plan do you have to open the schools back up with COVID-19 being a thing? Like, well, we can't plan for nothing that we haven't opened it up though, right? That scenario hasn't happened yet, right? Can't plan for it if it hasn't happened yet. Nigga, what kind of leadership is that? So Chuck Woolery found out his son got COVID-19, deleted his Twitter account the whole nine because he couldn't stand having to face the mountain of motherfuckers who couldn't wait to dunk on his ass. And truthfully speaking, that's his right and everything. But yo, man, it's just stupid. It's dumb. This is just dumb. Bottom line, there's no other way to put it. It's just dumb. So yeah, man, that's in Blue Blazers. Now, another story that's in Blue Blazers, I'm gonna tell y'all this right now. It seems like karma ain't waiting on nobody this week. Karma been out here busy than a motherfucker because apparently there was a woman who went viral earlier last week for this like racist rant that she like spewed towards a teenager or whatever. Well, she just died because she got hit by a goddamn fire truck. Yeah, man. So we get the story here. This actually comes out of TMZ. It says a North Carolina woman who recently went viral for going on a vile racist rant and was later arrested for assault is now fighting for her life after a bizarre accident involving a fire truck. Well, she died. Rachel Dawn Ruitt was struck by an Asheville Fire Department pickup truck Monday afternoon after stepping out in front of traffic, according to a witness. Asheville PD says Ruitt is suffering from life-threatening injuries and at the hospital in critical condition. The accident is being investigated. Ruitt is unfortunately otherwise known for appearing in multiple videos in downtown Asheville spewing racism, and for her July 4th arrest for allegedly attacking both a woman in a hijab and a black teenager. Ruitt allegedly ripped off the woman's head covering and grabbed the teenager in the groin. She was arrested and charged with simple assault, disorderly conduct, and second-degree trespassing. Before her arrest, Ruitt made news after people posted videos of her from June 13th and July 1st going on racist tirades. During the July 1st incident, witnesses claim she tried to attack a child and cops were called several times but never showed up. So there's video. There's video of this. So let me go ahead and pull this up so y'all can get an idea as to like just how nasty this shit was, man. Let me do this here. All right. Here we go. Come on, TMZ. Let's act like we're trying to do something today. Alrighty. Let's not act like we're trying to do something like I don't know what the fuck. Do I need to refresh this shit? I swear, man, sometimes live podcasting ain't the business. All right, there we go. And to refresh real quick. Okay. There we go. Sizer wants to play now.
Please do, bitch. Cause I'll kill you, bitch. I'll slit your goddamn throat right the in front of the courthouse, bitch. Hey, bitch. I'm talking to you, bitch. Who the you looking to? Bitch. I'm looking, hey. We'll do whatever you want to, bitch. Get me on camera, nigga. You're fucking loving the A-cup, bitch. What the you doing, nigga? Right now. Nobody gives a I hate niggas.
Imagine cursing in front of
I fucking hate loving whores like you child. Now let me see your titties so I can bitch.
What am I again? What am I?
You're gonna be my loving whore, bitch. That's what you're gonna be in about 5 minutes, bitch.
What are you gonna do?
I'm
Hit
gonna
me?
rape you and sodomize you, bitch. You loving whore. Now get the out my face, you. Keep it up, bitch. Cause in about 5 minutes, I'm gonna come over there and rip your goddamn titties off your
God damn.
Do it. Come here.
Suck my dick.
You're
bitch.
all talk.
Come here. So are you, little bitch. Little girl.
This is getting boring.
I want to see that A-cup though, with your nipples almost about a half inch.
Nigga, somewhere Andrew Dice Clay is like, man, this bitch stole all my material. Like for real, like, like that is like, that's crazy. That's crazy. But like I said, this lady, she passed away earlier this week after succumbing to the injuries that she suffered from getting hit by a goddamn fire truck. That sounds like some Final Destination kind of shit, right? Like that sounds like some shit. Like I believe that almost happened. Did that happen in Final Destination? Somebody let me know. Didn't that happen in Final Destination? I know somebody got hit by like a bus or a truck or something. Like they stepped out and like they were talking to somebody and they stepped out in the traffic and a bus just fucked them up all the way, you know? But yeah, man, that has been Blue Blazes.
What in blue blazes is going on out here? Did this nigga just say blue blazes?
All right, but we got a segment that we haven't had in a while here now. It's been quite some time since we did it, but because of what's been happening in the news this week, damn it, this is a thing. In the Black community, pseudo-consciously based offenses are considered especially heinous. In the Yonk right, the dedicated misogynists who perpetuate frauds are members of an elite squad known as a special Hotep unit. These are their stories. All right, our first story here in the special Hotep unit, because there's a couple. But Nick Cannon is in the special HOTEP unit this week. Nick Cannon was fired by Viacom CBS over anti-Semitic comments that he made on his podcast, Cannon's Class. All right, we get the story here. This comes out of NPR.com. It says the actor, TV show host, and musician has been fired from his long-running comedy improv show, Wild 'N Out. It comes after he made anti-Semitic comments on his podcast and the YouTube show, Cannon's Class. Wild 'N Out's parent company, Viacom CBS, released a statement saying, "We are deeply troubled that Nick has failed to acknowledge or apologize for perpetuating anti-Semitism, and we are terminating our relationship with him." Cannon responded to the firing via a post on Facebook saying, "I must apologize to my Jewish brothers and sisters for putting them in such a painful position, which is never my intention, but I know this whole situation has hurt many people, and together we will make it right." Cannon adds that he tried to reach out to Viacom CBS chair Shari Redstone to apologize, a claim which a Viacom CBS spokesperson called absolutely untrue. Cannon also demanded full ownership of the Wild 'N Out brand he helped create. "Based on trust and empty promises, my ownership has swindled away from me," he writes. "For Viacom to be so deceptive is no surprise. They have been mistreating and robbing our community for years, underpaying talent on their biggest brands like Love and Hip Hop, all of BET programming, and of course, Wild 'N Out." The podcast episode in question features Cannon interviewing Richard Griffin, better known as Professor Griff, who was kicked out of the wildly popular rap group Public Enemy in 1989 after doing an interview with the Washington Times. The Washington Times, I'm going to tell y'all this right now. Be mindful that the Washington Times is like the Fox News equivalent of newspapers. Is a very conservative bent over there at the Washington Times. Just be aware of that. Griff reportedly claimed that Jews were responsible for the majority of wickedness that goes on across the globe. Throughout the interview, Cannon engages in anti-Semitic conspiracy theories, asking why we give so much power to the theys. The theys turned into Illuminati, the Zionists, the Rothschilds, referring to the wealthy Jewish family often used as a dog whistle for anti-Semitism. Cannon's firing is happening at the same time as other high-profile figures in sports and music have recently trafficked in similar anti-Semitic conspiracies, all summed up in a recent op-ed from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the Hollywood Reporter. Now, so it's a lot going on in here, a lot to unpack. First things first, I will say, and this is something that I've said on social media over the course of this week, is that we can't afford to be this stupid. We can't afford to be this stupid. One of the things I think that we as Black people have to understand, and I know this may like rub some of y'all the wrong way, but you know, that may it be what it is. But there's this notion that Black people can't be racist. And sometimes the notion is also extends to women, where like women can't be misogynistic, that those of the LGBTQ spectrum can't be homophobic, and what have you. I believe we have to disassociate ourselves from that notion, right? I also believe that simply because we are a marginalized group, that does not excuse us from trafficking in some of the same racist, xenophobic, Islamophobic, anti-Semitic rhetoric that we would call for the firing of others while we engage in some of the same activities and think that nothing is supposed to happen, right? I've seen a lot of people I know and love, to say that Nick Cannon didn't say anything wrong, right? Many people point out the fact that Louis Farrakhan has been saying many of the same things, and a lot of y'all, y'all follow behind Louis Farrakhan. Y'all agree with a lot of things that Louis Farrakhan says. I'm not one of those people, but I haven't really just been knocking any of y'all for it, because I understand sometimes that, like, he's a charismatic dude. And when you are when you're searching for or reasoning for a lot of things, sometimes those answers can come from those places for some people, right? But off top, I'm like, I've been wondering, like Nick Cannon has been able to operate. I know a lot of y'all been talking about like Nick Cannon got fired quicker than they arrested the people who he got fired quicker than they arrested the people who killed like Breonna Taylor and shit, right? Like the whole the killers of Breonna Taylor has kind of become like sort of a meme, sort of a joke. It's been weird to kind of watch that happen. I saw somebody do a TikTok video with a dance and all that with like arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. It's fucking wild. But this idea that we can't be racist, xenophobic, and all these other, I think we should disassociate ourselves from that. Now, I tried to watch some of it, but you know, they like took the video down and all this other shit. But one of the things that like people have been like, you know, latching onto was this idea that like, how can it be anti-Semitic when we are the original Semitic people, this, that, and the other? Excuse me. And that has been what they've been like latching onto. Never mind like the things that like, you know, the idea that Jews run the world, right? There's this underlying sort of schism there. There's this underlying sort of anti-Semitism there. Like Jews run the world. There's a secret cabal of Jewish people that run the world, much like you talk about the Illuminati, the Bilderbergs, and all this other shit, right? And they kind of talk, I believe, a little bit about that on that podcast. But there's this idea that Jews rule the world. They rule banking and they rule, you know, pop culture. Or they have like they have these media companies and they got these financial conglomerates and everything. And so with the media and the finances being controlled by Jews, they control the world. And it's like, man, these sorts of tropes have been used to facilitate the mass extermination of Jewish people in Europe, right? 6 million Jews were killed. A little bit over 6 million people were killed because this sort of rhetoric was used by Adolf Hitler in order to eradicate Jewish people on the face of the earth, right? And he was able to get away with it until the end of World War II. But by the time he was done, he had got rid of at least 6 million of them, right? Because this sort of rhetoric was allowed to fester and to become common parlance within the, you know, community in Germany and in Europe and everything else. And so what I see going on is that there is this thing of we've allowed a certain level of that rhetoric to maintain to a point where Nick Cannon says this and no one bats an eye. At least, you know, people would look at it like, well, he ain't doing nothing but telling the truth. Right? Let's talk about this whole idea of telling the truth, though. Let's talk about that. And then let's just juxtapose it too. So, one of the things that, like, when people say like they just telling the truth, they ain't told no lies, they just telling the truth. You know who else believes that they just telling the truth, that they ain't telling no lies when they saying some fucked up shit? Racists, when they talking about you. When they're talking about you, they don't believe they telling no lies. They believe that everything they talking about is rooted in fact. They got all these pseudosciences and all this other shit that they can back up whatever the fuck it is that they saying, right? There used to be science that said that you had extra bones that made you more athletic than everybody else, right? This is the reason why black people, there used to be science that said that black people didn't feel pain the way that other people feel pain. So you were able to work harder in the fields, right? And some of that still kind of happens today, where you go to a doctor and the doctor, they ask you to you know, tell them how much pain you're in. And they believe that when you tell them that you're in pain, that you're not even telling them the truth. There was a, what was that? There was this nurse chick that was on TikTok, And she was joking about when patients are telling the nurses and stuff that they can't breathe and they're having trouble breathing, and she's like, I can tell when they lying. People was in her ass because there's a history of Black people going to the doctor, not being fully believed about how they're feeling about the level of pain or discomfort that they're in when they go to the doctor. But there were people who were promoting sciences to say that Black people didn't feel the same way that everybody else felt. And then there are white people who absolutely believe that. So then you got, say, for instance, you're having a debate with a white person, and, you know, white people, there's some white people, there's some white people who believe that, like, Black people are predisposed to committing crimes. So you get into an argument with a white person over Black on Black crime. There's this whole notion of Black on Black crime. This is part of the reason why your man Spann hates when Black people are out here regurgitating that same bullshit talking point of Black on Black crime. Because the talking point is rooted in the racist idea that Black people are predisposed to violence much more than anybody else. And so they'll talk about Black on Black crime in a way in which they're like, well, yeah, you know, you guys are talking about Black Lives Matter, but it's not, you know, the Black lives aren't mattering in your neighborhood because you're killing each other all over there. You're killing each other like flapjacks, man. It's crazy in the neighborhood. Right? And then they'll go to the FBI uniform crime reports. And then they'll go to those FBI uniform crime reports. And what did it say on the uniform crime reports? They'll say, well, like 90% of Black people are killed by other Black people. Like, see, I told you, I'm not telling any lies. But it doesn't necessarily examine how those numbers got to be the way that they are. They don't talk about the defunding of the public education in those neighborhoods. It doesn't talk about the tax base of that neighborhood being gutted. It doesn't talk about the disproportionate use of police and police force in those neighborhoods and how that can inflate the numbers that are happening. It doesn't even tell you about the people who have been falsely convicted. It just tells you the amount of people who've been arrested for shit, ultimately. But they will point to that and be like, I'm not telling no lies. And then you can refute that. You can just go to like, well, shit, how come we're never talking about white on white crime? I mean, y'all kill each other just about the same amount that we kill y'all. Like, or like y'all kill each other in much the same way that Black people kill each other because of the proximity issue when it comes to crime. Most people committing crime are against the people that they are more likely to be around. Asian people kill more Asian people. Latinos kill more Latinos than anybody else. White people kill white people more than anybody else. So there's this idea that if you believe that to be the truth, you can find whatever you want to make that be true for you. Cognitive dissonance, confirmation bias, you can justify a lot of shit. The internet is full of shit where you can just find any justification whatsoever for any bullshit that you subscribe to. Full of it. There are groups that you can join. There are websites that you can become a part of. And so what's happening is that there's this casual sort of discussion that people will be having about racist ideals, anti-Semitic ideals, Islamophobic ideals, homophobic ideals, right? They'll have these casual conversations about them. And what's happening now is that we're having these casual conversations in broad ways. We're having them on Twitter. We're having them on podcasts. We're having them on YouTube discussions, right? YouTube videos. But the difference is Nick Cannon is a multimillionaire who's been an executive at Nickelodeon, an executive of he supposedly like is an executive producer of the Wild and Out show. I believe he owned it until I didn't know he didn't own it until this week when he got fired from his own shit. Nick Cannon had the ability to hire and fire people. Now I want y'all to think about this for a second. When I talked about the idea that black people can be racist, and that, you know, gay people can be homophobic, and that women can be misogynistic. There's no monopoly on any of this shit. So when I made this point on Facebook earlier this week, and I made this point, I was talking about that idea, and you know, I met some pushback. You know, people, you know, off rip was like, you know, well, black people can be, you know, bigoted, but we can't be racist because we don't have the institutional power to do this. And you know, I think that's a moving of the goalpost, right? I think that's a moving of the goalpost. I absolutely believe that black people can exhibit racist behavior, and black people can exert racist behavior depending upon the circumstances. They can exert a racial power depending on the circumstances. Ask yourself, or ask any black person who's been accosted by a black police officer whether or not they felt that black police officer went a little bit more harder on them than they probably should have, right? Because there's this notion in the neighborhoods, there's this notion that black police officers tend to go extra hard because they have to prove themselves to the force, to their colleagues on the force, that they had to become that Blue Lives Matter sort of shit. And a lot of black people will tell you they felt like the black police officer was a little extra hard. I've been reading this book by James Foreman, Locking Up Our Own, Crime and Punishment in Black America, where the idea was like they were talking, and he was talking about how black police officers, when they were first becoming a thing, like they were first allowing black people to become officers in some of these departments that were segregated, that absolutely did not even have black police officers, and how black people had this idea that when they hired these black police officers, that these black police officers would be able to recognize someone's social status within the neighborhood. They would be able to recognize who the hoods in the neighborhood were and who wasn't, who were the good upstanding folk, right? And what they found was no one really asked these black police officers why they were becoming police officers. Many of them thought that it was because they wanted to rectify the things that were going on that they saw with the police department within the community. And that wasn't really what it was. They wanted a job. And the police office, like the police department, was hiring. And truthfully speaking, like when they were allowing a lot of these black police officers to first become part of the police department, they didn't even have the power to arrest white people. They had to wait for a white police officer to show up, and that white officer would determine what happened to that white person or not, right? And so you like the idea that white people or that black people can't exert a level of racism towards anybody, depending on the situation, is what you should say. Not to say that we don't have the ability to do so. We have the ability to do so depending upon the circumstances. If a black person was a business owner and they decided that they weren't going to hire someone who was qualified for the position, but they were white, that's a racist act. That's a racist act. And it doesn't take the system to determine whether or not that was racist or not. If a woman decided that she was in a position of privilege, or she was in a position like she owns a business and she had a job that was available, and a woman applied for that job, and she decided that she wasn't going to hire a woman because she deemed that job something that only a man should be able to do, despite this woman's qualifications, guess what? She was being misogynistic in that moment. It didn't take a system to determine whether or not she was misogynistic or not. The act itself was misogynistic. Being a part of like this, the system or the systemic shit only makes it more efficient. It doesn't make the act itself not what it is. And so I believe that we should start divorcing ourselves from this idea that we can't be because we don't have the systemic power to do so. In individual cases and in isolated cases, you can find where a black person, a minority person of any sort, woman, gay, black, Latino, whatever, can act in a way that is to the detriment of someone who is also of a marginalized group. And so that goes, we'll take that back to Nick Cannon. And for Nick Cannon to be out here echoing a lot of the same sentiments of somehow there being a cabal of Jewish folks who are running the world to a certain degree and with nefarious intent, is the same sort of rhetoric, although casually, was the same sort of rhetoric that someone like Adolf Hitler used in Germany to eradicate 6 million people. And just because Nick Cannon is a black person doesn't mean that we should act like we should like, yo, he black, so I gotta ride with Nick Cannon. I gotta boycott Viacom. I'm no longer like I'm gonna be watching Wild 'N Out. I'm gonna be streaming all of Nick Cannon's music and shit. None of y'all niggas been like rocking with Nick Cannon's music like that. Come on now. Don't come on, man. Stop being foolish. Y'all didn't like that nigga's music like that. I kind of wish Nick Cannon would have went back to like just telling black people not to vote. I mean, at least then, like, you know, like it was sort of like, here he go again, you know. Nick Cannon's like this sounds sort of like the dude who just he's in like African American history class 101 in college or something. I know I don't know if because I've been hearing like conflicting reports about him either graduated from Howard or he's like a sophomore or junior at Howard. Who the fuck knows? But this idea that he's only telling the truth. We saw some of this shit too with Deshaun Jackson. Deshaun Jackson earlier in the week was posting an article. He was posting snippets of a book that he read where they attributed a statement to Adolf Hitler about black people figuring out who they are. Turns out the post wasn't actually attributed to Adolf Hitler. It was a fake quote. But think about that for a minute. You may think that you're talking about some pro-blackness shit while quoting somebody that hated black people too. This is what I mean when I say we can't be this stupid. You gotta vet where a lot of this shit is coming from. And yeah, it may sound great. Like if you were looking for some pro-blackness and everything else, it may sound great to you. Like, yeah, man, they trying to keep us from our true selves, you know. When Deshaun Jackson read that statement and they attributed it to Adolf Hitler, you should have known you was off the rails right then. That should have been like, oh man, hell no. Right? It's a wrap. We can't, ain't nowhere in hell, bro. Like Adolf Hitler, nigga. Adolf Hitler, nigga. Right? But we've gotten to a point where we got this casual sort of anti-Semitism, this casual sort of racism, this casual fucking homophobia. And then when somebody calls it out, suddenly like, well, hold on now. I ain't got no racist bone in my body. Everybody ain't got the racist bone. All this racism going on. Ain't nobody got a racist bone. Ain't nobody got a homophobic bone. Although you said some homophobic shit. Ain't nobody got no anti-Semitic bones. Although you saying some anti-Semitic shit. Everybody act like they ain't got the bones, man. The bones ain't in you. But somehow the bones like residue is within whatever the fuck it is you're talking about. Right? So, yeah, man, Viacom fired this dude. And truthfully speaking, think about this for a minute. Y'all saying Viacom shouldn't have fired him, while at the same time, if somebody says anything remotely racist about black people, man, yo, we celebrating they firing, bruh. We cooking on that. I got a whole ass segment now of you about to lose your job when somebody does something stupidly racist. But when Nick Cannon says something against another marginalized group, because you believe suddenly, like you believe this group, hold on now, you believe this group has such immense power and such immense influence that somehow they rule the world, but they weren't able to keep 6 million of them from being killed in the Holocaust. Make that make sense. I am not going to stand on the side of anybody simply by them being black if they out here doing wrong shit. That's dumb. That's dumb. We go back to the whole idea of like Candace Owens and the Brandon Tatums of the world, you know, those sorts of folks. Y'all don't co-sign them either. When they out here doing some shit you think it's against black people, you don't co-sign them folks. Rightfully so. I sure as hell don't. I clown them every chance I get. But when someone of our community does something to harm another community, does that other community not have the right to call for the same shit that we would be calling for had it been us? Wrong is wrong, man. No matter where it's coming from, wrong is wrong. That's what it is. At least that's what it is for me, right? Now, the other part that I found very interesting about this is that Nick Cannon has said since his apology that that some people are mad at Nick Cannon for apologizing. Now, I'm all for a brother who recognizes the error of his ways and tries to figure out a way to make it right to those who he's wronged and crossed and whatever else, right? But people have decided that Nick Cannon shouldn't have apologized. And here's the other part about this too. The people who are mad that he apologized, those are the people who were cheering him on when he was saying the shit that he was wrong about. Right? Somebody pulls Nick Coat to like, yo, you being wrong. Like, hey man, so listen, here's where you got this shit fucked up, right? Now, Nick Cannon has said that he had like some conversation with some people who are a part of the community that he aggrieved. And it gave him another perspective. And here's the other part about this too. I want to be very clear in this. There is absolutely nothing wrong with changing your mind after having been presented with better information, more information. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. It does not make you weak. It does not make you wishy-washy. If you come into some better information, there's nothing wrong with changing your mind. Many of the people who will say you are wishy-washy, or you are a flake, or you are like sometime whatever else, many of those same people are stuck in the same bullshit they've been stuck in for years. They've been stuck there for a long time because they never come off with the bullshit that they've been like espousing for the longest. That's just what it is. So Nick Cannon apologized, and people are coming at Nick Cannon's neck because he apologized. As a matter of fact, Nick Cannon released a statement about it. Let me pull this up so you guys can see this. Shout out to my man Dilla who posted this earlier today that kind of brought this to my attention. Let me expand this. But okay, where is it? Yeah, okay. It says, I hurt an entire community and it pained me to my core. I thought it couldn't get any worse. Then I watched my own community turn on me and call me a sellout for apologizing. Good night. Enjoy Earth. Now, when he said enjoy Earth, many people thought that Nick Cannon was like basically putting out a suicide statement. I don't know what's going on with that particularly, but I do know that many of the people who would have been coming at Nick Cannon's head for this are the same people who were cheering him on. And the only reason they were cheering him on was because they had an agenda to promote. Right? And this is the problem that I think a lot of the casual sort of racism, the casual sort of homophobia, the casual Islamophobia, the casual anti-Semitism, when we have these casual attitudes about a lot of this shit, when someone of a particular profile, someone with with access to a certain segment of the population who has a large group of people who follow them, people know who they are. People would like to attach themselves to them to legitimize their rhetoric, right? We've seen this happen over the course of the last 10 to 15 years. I can remember doing a YouTube video a decade ago talking about the mainstreaming of fringe rhetoric, right? This is before, like, this is like around the time, I want to say, when Barack Obama was running for president the first time, and we started seeing all this racist rhetoric started coming up, right? All of these conspiracy theories about Barack Obama being from Kenya, about Barack Obama being a Muslim, about Barack Obama, what kind of school he went to, and all these other things, right? Donald Trump actually rolled that sort of fringe conspiracy theory sort of shit to legitimacy to the fucking White House. That's the danger of giving legitimacy to a lot of these bullshit theories. And so Nick Cannon gave some legitimacy to some bullshit, so to speak. And the people who were rooting for Nick Cannon to give it further fucking legitimacy are pissed because Nick Cannon was like, I might have fucked up here. So, yeah, man. I'm gonna just say it, dude. Like Nick Cannon, off rip, I feel like he maybe should not have even bothered having Professor Griff on that show, but at the same time, Nick Cannon has had other questionable people on that podcast, man. He's had Tariq Nasheed on there. He's had has he had Umar Johnson on there? I'm not sure. But there's a certain like kind of aesthetic that's going on with that show. And truthfully speaking, Nick Cannon has been on some hoteppy shit for a while. And I've been under the mindset like, man, like, you know, like white people must not know what the fuck Nick Cannon be doing when they ain't watching, man. Hey, a wild boy, you know what I'm saying? A wild boy. The nigga went out, like he did a little YouTube video telling people, like, you know, I'm not voting and all this other shit. Like, and I know he later kind of walked that back to say, I'm not telling other people not to vote. But listen, if you telling people not to look like that, do as I say, not as I do sort of shit, it's that mixed messaging. It's like, come on, man. Nick Cannon, I think he's about to be 40 this year. We got to know better. We got to do better. And so, yeah, man, the fact that he even like saw backlash from those folks, I'm here to tell you, it's not surprising that he would see backlash from those people. But at the same time, man, they got an agenda to promote. And so that's in Special Hotep Unit. Now, another part of the Special Hotep Unit, man, is Ice Cube, right? Ice Cube is also being inducted into the Special Hotep Unit this week here at the Spann Report podcast. And the reason why Ice Cube is being inducted is because Ice Cube decided that he was going to come at the neck of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for writing that column for the Hollywood Reporter. So we get this story here. This comes out, I want to say it was out of Baller Report. No, not Baller Report, Baller Alert. But it says rapper Ice Cube has responded after NBA veteran Kareem Abdul-Jabbar lashed out at both the sports industry and entertainment industries for his lack of outrage over recent acts of anti-Semitism. Shame on the Hollywood Reporter, who obviously gave my brother Kareem 30 pieces of silver to cut us down without even a phone call. Ice Cube tweeted on Wednesday, which sparked anti-Semitism accusation. The 51-year-old's tweet was in response to Abdul-Jabbar's column published on Tuesday by the Washington Reporter. When reading the dark, squishy intros of popular culture, Mayor raged in the face of sustained prejudice and an indisputable sign of the upcoming apocalypse, apathy to all forms of social justice. After all, if it's okay to discriminate against one group of people by hauling out cultural stereotypes without much pushback, it must be okay to do the same to others. Illogic begets illogic, he wrote in the column. Abdul-Jabbar also slammed comedian Chelsea Handler after she shared a video of Minister Farrakhan divulging his own controversial views on Jews. Almost 4 million people received a subliminal message that even some Jews think being anti-Jewish is justified, he said in the video. Handler, who happens to be Jewish, was eventually forced to issue an apology following intense scrutiny. And truthfully speaking, that doesn't happen for just Jewish people. We're just talking about the whole idea of black on black crime. White people aren't the only ones who make that argument. I can't tell you how many times I've heard black people say, if Black Lives Matter to black lives to black people, how come we allowing all this shit to go on in the neighborhood? And truthfully speaking, it's at this point, a concerted effort to misconstrue what the Black Lives Matter movement is about. Because if you knew what the Black Lives Matter movement was about, you wouldn't be making that silly fucking statement. We know that the Black Lives Matter movement was started because of police undue justice. I mean, I'm sorry, but the way in which law enforcement interacts with our community. There's nothing stopping these same people from creating another movement or creating another established organization to deal with the inner city issues that begets fucking black on black crime, so to speak, right? But what happens is, because Black Lives Matter has the shine, so to speak, those same people are resentful that their message isn't being received in the same way. It's not receiving the same sort of fucking attention, so to speak, by the media at large. And then oftentimes the people who believe that, there's nobody marches when such and such killed, like when Ray Ray kills Pookie in the hood or whatever else. They never fucking acknowledge that there are local groups in many of the black city, in many of the cities that have a largely black population, that are aimed at dealing with that exact thing, right? Because nobody gives a shit more about what happens in the black community than black people. Nobody cares more. Generally speaking, when you hear a white person telling you about what about black on black crime, it's only to shut you the fuck up about the systemic and the racial institutionalized racism that is happening to black people at the hands of law enforcement. They don't want you to talk about that shit. So they will deflect to what about black on black crime? And they will never acknowledge the people within the neighborhoods who are doing their best to combat that, and they don't get the media coverage, right? And so this isn't just, with Kareem saying, like, even Jewish people being anti-Jewish when he was referring to Chelsea Handler because she's out here promoting, Louis Farrakhan. Now, let's understand Ice Cube being upset about this. Ice Cube kind of embraced the nation back, I want to say maybe 90, 91 sometime after he got kicked out of NWA. Kind of went toward the nation and whatever. It was like really deep with Louis Farrakhan, and probably still holds a deep affection for Louis Farrakhan to this day, right? But the idea that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar owed him a fucking phone call, nigga, what? Or the idea that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar sold out because he disagreed with the shit that you were out here promoting, that he owed you a phone call. Nigga, what? Think about this for a second. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has been a Muslim probably longer than Ice Cube's been alive. And I know Ice Cube's like 51 and shit, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changed his name and embraced Islam a long fucking time ago. Long time ago. It was long. He hasn't been Lou Alcindor for quite some time. Probably a little bit more studied on the religion than Ice Cube at this particular point. Right? But the idea that he owed Ice Cube a phone call when Ice Cube has been out here publicly stating these things. Ice Cube has been out here publicly, promoting Farrakhan and promoting that sort of like subtle anti-Semitism and everything else. He's been out here on these Twitter streets on the same shit he's been on since 1991. Which is disappointing that you would be like, it's been fucking over 30 years and you still on the same shit that you was fucking 30 years ago. Like no growth whatsoever. That's disappointing. But the idea that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar owed you a phone call before he decided that he was going to address the shit that you've been out here addressing quite publicly is rich. So yeah, man. Ice Cube is in a special Hotep unit along with Nick Cannon this week here at the Spann Report podcast, yo. In the black community, pseudo-consciously based offenses are considered especially heinous. In the Yonk right, the dedicated misogynists who perpetuate frauds are members of an elite squad known as a special Hotep unit. These are their stories. But we got some more shit.
You about to lose your job, get this thing. You about to lose your job, get this thing. You about to lose your job, get this thing. You about to lose your job. You about to lose your job, get this thing. You about to lose your job, get this thing. You
All right. Let's lose your job time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. We got some people who are out here doing some racist shit, losing their jobs because of it. And our first story here comes out of Chicago, man. Actually, Batavia, Illinois. And there was so there's this guy named Jack the Striper who apparently was like putting the graphics and shit on all the like Chicago area police cars and stuff. Well, apparently they found out that Jack the Striper was out here on Facebook wilding out and posting a lot of racial and homophobic like posts on Facebook. So as a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull this up. I believe there's video to this story. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Let's see. This comes out of CBS Chicago. And so is there video? There is video. Come on, let's go ahead and load up. Come on, man. All right. Let's see what they're talking about.
Striper, he's done decal work for hundreds of thousands of police cars.
But now several of his longtime clients are calling it quits after racist, homophobic, and anti-Semitic posts came to light. Our Charlie DeMar is live in Batavia tonight. Charlie.
Batavia, my bad.
Brad and Erica, good evening. The Batavia Police Department, the first police department to publicly cut ties with Jake Zagman, but in the weeks since, others have followed. The bold black and blue graphics on the Batavia Police Department's cruisers, those yellow and brown custom letters printed on both Cook and Fulton Counties' Sheriff Squad cars. The decal work done by this man, Jake Zagman, known by his business title, Jake the Striper, located in Batavia.
That lines up just nicely.
We interviewed Zagman for an unrelated story in 2018. He's done the decals for dozens of departments and well over 200,000 cars.
Taxpayer dollars cannot support that. It sends the wrong message.
But Jake the Striper's business has hit a snag in recent weeks.
Because it was super easy to find this stuff. It's just vicious and evil and mean.
John Kettering and some of his friends came across Zagman's Facebook posts, took screenshots, and emailed the various police departments and cities who spend taxpayer dollars with him.
My assumption was not that any of these departments knew that he held these views. It's what are you going to do about it now that you know?
The Batavia Police Department severed ties with Zagman within an hour, Kettering says. The department writing on Facebook, these social media posts can only be described as racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, and otherwise appalling in nature. The Fulton County Sheriff said, this office will not knowingly associate with individuals that promote hate. The Cook County Sheriff's Office also ending its relationship with Zagman, who worked as a subcontractor. The College of Lake County reviewing its relationship.
This was something that it seemed very tangible. This is a tactile way to make a difference.
Zagman's now scrubbed social media was a steady stream of misogynist, racist, and homophobic postings. One of Zagman's posts shows a statue of Martin Luther King Jr. with the words, "Take this down." And the post reads, if you plan on removing Confederate statues, this one should be removed as well.
Our tax dollars should not promote un-American worldviews. It's good to see that, people have severed ties.
Now, I did speak to Jake the Striper earlier today on the phone. He declined to comment for this story. Also reached out to a number of police departments, including the Chicago Police Department, who previously used his services. They say they will continue to take their business elsewhere. We're live tonight in Batavia. Charlie DeMar, CBS 2 News.
I'm going to tell you right now, with Lori Lightfoot being mayor of Chicago, I doubt very seriously they ever go back to that motherfucker, right? But yo, man, this is the thing. Like, you can't be out here like that. You can't, especially in these times. You can't be out here like that. People got time, man. People will look shit up. They got time. They at home, bruh. Now, he's been actually able to, like, somebody was like, yo, it didn't take us long to, like, figure this stuff out. Like, he is public knowledge, right? But, these police departments weren't necessarily looking at his personal Facebook. Someone had to bring this to their attention. Much like the thing with Nick Cannon. Nick Cannon's class, like that podcast, had been up for like a month. Well, not necessarily a month. Like it's been up a couple weeks. I think he put that up to like the last week of June before everything hit the fan this week. My man, he was fired like an hour. Like all this business started leaving because people, once they put this out, they're like, we can't be associated with this sort of shit. That's just what it is, man. You can't be out here being hateful. You can't be out here spreading any anti-marginalized groups messaging. Period. This is what it is. And so, yeah, man, Jake Zagman, he lost his motherfucking job. Now, another story here that we got in Lose Your Job. Let's okay. Let's go ahead and minimize that. But another story that we got here in Lose Your Job is we got one from, what is this? This is from, okay, so this is NHPR.org. All right, so a Nashua, New Hampshire radio host is fired over a racist Facebook video. A host at a Nashua radio station has lost her show over a racist Facebook video. WSMN radio fired Diana Ploss after the video she posted showing her accosting Spanish-speaking workers went viral. In the since deleted video, which Ploss shot and broadcast over Facebook Live on Friday, she can be heard confronting the workers on a landscaping crew on Nashua's main street. It's English, Ploss says as she paces the sidewalk. It is America. You should speak English. Now, we do have video of this because, of course, we do, right? She decided she was going to try to scrub it, but the internet is forever. Somebody, recorded it, screenshotted it, whatever. And she got fired because of this rant. So let me go ahead and pull this rant up so we can watch together. Check this out, y'all. Here we go.
Over from the other side, because he's a black man and he's going to protect the brown man.
This is Diana Ploss.
From this white woman, because she happened to walk by and heard this guy talking to all of these guys doing this work in Spanish.
An alleged radio host.
He's speaking English?
Well, a lot of them speak English, but I just want to speak Spanish.
Okay, but it is America.
It is America.
It is America. You should be speaking English.
What the fuck does it matter to you if they're not talking to you? What the fuck does it matter to you? They're not talking to you. They're talking amongst each other. Mind your business. This is America. Mind your business.
You should be speaking English. They work for the state. You should be speaking English.
I don't work for the state.
What do you work for?
I work for
Oh, so are these people is English. It doesn't matter. It's still English.
Picking a fight by berating workers just trying to do their job.
It's English. 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 Is anybody here illegal? Are these guys illegal? Look at this. Look at this. It's America. Speak English. Speak English.
The location, New Hampshire.
So your tax doll is up here in New Hampshire. That's what's going on here. That's what's going on here. That is what's going on. So now they have people who don't speak English.
They got people who probably do speak English, but they're not talking to your stupid ass. So they're not speaking English because they're talking to each other. Mind your business.
Who are putting in this stuff.
Demanding as long as they're in this country, they speak English.
The taxpayers are paying for. And look what they're doing. This is communism. This is communism. Look at this.
And here's how you know.
What does speaking the language have to do?
Do they not speak the language?
You drive into the state. What does it say?
I wasn't talking to you.
You're harassing me.
I have a right.
To harass people?
How am I harassing them? Why are you wearing a mask?
Why am I wearing a mask?
Yeah, of course.
There's a global pandemic.
Of course. Really? Okay. So this guy decided that he's going to come over here and be a social justice warrior.
She is.
Again. So check this out, man. I'm going to tell y'all this. I'm going to say it again. Social justice warriors are badasses, man. Don't let nobody tell you otherwise. Think about that. They think that saying social justice warrior is an insult. Nigga, that sounds gangster as fuck. You's a warrior, dog? For social justice? That's some badass shit, man. Stop letting these motherfuckers try to use like that shit against you and make you feel bad about wanting good for everybody. That's crazy, but it continues, y'all.
Off the deep end. Deep state, rather. Sorry. Diana Ploss is a bigot, a xenophobe.
Okay, so never mind, because this is somebody else's commentary about the shit, and we don't care about their commentary. We talking about it right now. But yo, man, that's like she lost her job with the radio station because of that. So yeah, man, that was Lose Your Job.
You about to lose your job in this thing. You about to lose your You about to lose your job in this thing. You about to lose your job in this thing. You about to lose your job.
All right, but y'all know what time it is.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me.
All right, it's enough of that shit. It's proud to be an American time here at the Spann Report podcast, man. And our first story here in Proud to be an American is Clarence Thomas's wife, Jenny, asked the Virginia mayor to take down a Black Lives Matter banner. Does Clarence Thomas's life not matter to Jenny Thomas? I'm just asking, man. I'm just asking. This is part of the reason why I say I'm rooting for everybody black but Clarence Thomas, like, because fuck that nigga. But yo, we get this story here. This comes out of blackenterprise.com. It says Virginia Jenny Thomas, a lawyer, conservative activist, and the wife of Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas, emailed the Mayor William Holloway of Clifton, Virginia, demanding the removal of a Black Lives Matter banner. The banner, which states "Welcome to Clifton," where Black Lives Matter, is displayed over Main Street in the predominantly white town. According to the Griot, Thomas's letter called Black Lives Matter a group attempting to destabilize the nation. You heard that? A group attempting to destabilize the nation. So the demanding that black lives be treated as equally as white people is destabilizing to the nation. Right? Right? Is that what we're going for? It says, according to the Griot, I already read that part. Excuse me. It says, would you please remove the BLM sign from Clifton? Thomas wrote to Holloway, as leaders of this community, you should be smarter than promoting such a group as this who uses race to foment chaos to destabilize the nation. Mayor Holloway said he put up the banner to show unity with many U.S. citizens. Holloway, who also works as a lawyer, asked for the community's feedback, and many agreed with his decision to post a sign. So basically, Jenny Thomas was in the minority of this. She's a loud fucking minority on this. As we're finding out, a lot of times, man, that's kind of how the shit rolls. There's a lot of loud motherfucking minority people, like people who have abhorrent views tend to be in the minority a lot in a lot of instances. But because they're so loud, we tend to give them much more credence or much more legitimacy than they actually deserve, because they represent a smaller fucking population than the people who want more progressive ideals. I've already said this on the show. When it comes to republicanism, when it comes to conservatism, by and large, they represent a smaller swath of the nation than their influence in current political, like in the current political climate would, kind of belie. Like, they have an outsized influence considering how many of them there actually are, right? But we'll continue with the story. It says, another reason Holloway was okay with the sign is the unrest in the town following George Floyd's death. One of Holloway's legal offices had all of its windows smashed out of it, Holloway said, according to the Washington Post. We couldn't go to work there. It was a volatile time. Holloway believed the town council needed to make a statement right away, he said. The banner did surprise some in the town, which is about 45 minutes southwest of Washington, D.C. Dr. Jason Johnson, a professor of the School of Global Journalism and Communications at Morgan State University, wrote on Twitter he was shocked the banner was put up in the town, period. I went to high school in Clifton, Virginia, Johnson wrote. I'm way more shocked about this banner that was put up than I am about what Clarence Thomas's wife thought about it. The Black Lives Matter movement has resurfaced due to the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and others. In addition to nationwide protests, companies have been pressured to support the movement or face being alienated by customers. So there's power in bringing these voices together and demanding the change that you want to see. And we've seen multiple instances of companies deciding that they're going to affirm that Black Lives Matter because, one, they don't want to be on the wrong side of history, but two, they don't I'm still cynical. They don't want you to take your dollars away. Right? So I'm still cynical about some of this, but yeah, man, there's power in that. And I think that the fact that Jenny Thomas, Clarence Thomas's wife, deciding that you should take that down because they're attempted to destabilize the nation. Yeah, man, that's that dumb shit there. And it's part of the reason why I say fuck Clarence Thomas on any motherfucking time we have to talk about Clarence Thomas. But yo, man, that's in Proud to Be an American. Now, another story that we got here in Proud to Be an American is Meghan McCain, man. Meghan McCain is out here on the bullshit again. And this time she's on the bullshit because she was out here actually defending someone like the likes of Tucker Carlson after he was responding to the fact that one of his head writers of his show on Fox News was fired due to racist, sexist remarks that he was making anonymously on social media.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
So let me pull this up so y'all can watch with your boy. Because this happened on The View. And I think this is Daily Beast that has it, but I could have just pulled this up on YouTube.
Tucker Carlson addressed his head writer getting fired by Fox News for posting racist comments as recently as last week. Take a look.
What Blake wrote anonymously was wrong. We don't endorse those words. They have no connection to the show.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
It is wrong to attack people for qualities they cannot control. In this country, we judge people for what they do, not for how they were born. Blake fell short of that standard, and he has paid a very heavy price for it. But we should also point out to the ghouls now beating their chests in triumph at the destruction of a young man that self-righteousness also has its costs. We are all human. When we pretend we are holy, we are lying.
So hold up. So your man's is out here saying some homophobic and racist shit, sexist stuff and everything else. People are rightfully like kind of clowning the dude for it. And you decide that like, because they're doing that, that they're somehow like putting themselves up as being holy because of it. Really? That's what we're doing. Now, mind you, Tucker Carlson decided that he was going to take a previously planned vacation after this happened. This is kind of funny, man, because every time on Fox News some bullshit happened, suddenly these niggas had a vacation plan, right? Oh yeah, I had this vacation plan. I'm gonna go out fishing with my son and stuff. We're gonna be out for about a couple of weeks, till this shit died down, because I planned it, but yeah, it's until this shit died down, But yo, they talked about this a bit on The View. Now I know this video is 9 minutes. We're not going to play the entire 9 minutes, and I know we're primarily looking to see what the hell it was that Meghan McCain had to say about this. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Let's see what she's talking about here. Let's go.
That I don't hold any is thrown out there to keep you from making your points. And if we could, get rid of the
wait.
Joy and I got into it yesterday, and then really, really important. I think having different kinds of opinions, having a platform. I am against cancel culture. 6 months ago,
I'm trying to find it, y'all. I'm
to
sorry.
remove one of us from this show. Yes, I was actually waiting for you to come to me.
Okay.
Here we go.
I think about cancel culture a lot. And I think every person who's in mainstream media that has a platform probably at one time or another thinks about it. And every woman on this show, at one point or another, cancel culture has tried to remove one of us from this show for one reason or another. And by some miracle, we're all still here. And I think the greatest miracle is still me somehow being here, because the New York Times put out an op-ed about 6 months ago saying that it was basically dangerous to have a conservative woman with this kind of platform on this show. So
I'm gonna tell you this right now, and this is the reason why Meghan McCain is still on that show. Meghan McCain is still on that show because Meghan McCain brings ratings. Meghan McCain is still on that show because this particular segment and this sort of shit right here gets people like me kind of talk about her, right? And which brings more eyeballs to that show. So the fact that Meghan McCain is still there speaks to the fact that they understand that Meghan McCain is polarizing, and that polarizing brings viewers, polarizing brings opinions, polarizing brings commentary. Thus, the reason why Meghan McCain is still there, right? Meghan McCain is doing her fucking job. Now, I know we're talking about her here on the Spann Report right now, but she's doing her job and presenting what she would consider an alternative viewpoint, but also like trying to give us like a virtue. Like she's trying to present this as a virtuous thing of having a diversity of thought. And as we talk about diversity of thought, one of the things that I as we've been talking about diversity of thought on this show is how the fringe element seeks to become a part of the normal parlance of how we talk about anything. So when you present one, I said this on social media. One of the worst things that social media has kind of done to us is given us this idea that all of our ideas, all of our opinions are valid and should be respected and should be elevated, right? It's giving us this idea. And so when we have this idea in our heads, it's giving racists this idea that like, yo, so the things that I think about black people should be a part of the national discussion. It should be a part of the national like parlance. These are the things that we should be talking about, but we're not. And they're afraid to hear the truth, right? Everybody presents this shit as the truth. And so because of that, we've allowed a certain element that we used to ignore to become a part of the national discussion. And it's dangerous. And we see the danger in it because Donald Trump is sitting in the motherfucking White House right now. Right? So yeah, let's continue to listen to this shit.
I am against cancel culture. And I think one of the reasons why I'm always a proponent of Tucker Carlson's is because I believe in diversity of opinion. I believe in the reason why Fox News exists, because that kind of opinion, doesn't exist on any other network. I obviously don't agree with what that writer said, and he should have been fired. But when I grew up, I watched Tucker Carlson and Paul Begala on Crossfire. This is probably like dating me. Whoopi, I believe you used to watch those kind of shows as well, like debate shows. Like with Gore Vidal and William F. Buckley. And I think those kind of debates are really, really important. I think having different kinds of opinions, having a platform on national television, coming together to argue about these things is something that is really, truly American and truly original in our media. Yes. And the thing that I thought yesterday, because Joy and I got into it yesterday and then it was subsequently trending on Twitter, is The View is the last place this happens in mainstream media. And it occurred to me yesterday, great for us because again, Sunny, Whoopi, all of us at different times have gotten into it over different issues. But it's sad that a women's daytime television show, and I'm very proud of the work we do, and I'm not here to belittle it, but there's just no other platform for this. And I think when we're thinking about cancel culture, it just makes me sad that there seems to be we're at a moment in time where there's just not a place for people to come together and have civil and sometimes a little uncivil debates. But I'm fine with that. And I just really worry about the direction we're going in culturally when we're all going to get completely siloed in our corners and we're not going to have debates because, quite frankly, I like debating with all three of you. You're all incredibly smart, brilliant women, and it's a privilege to do.
Okay. So this is the other part about this. So she talked about it as being like just a debate, right? Like debating being like this, and there's something to be said about debating. Like you can debate and have different ideas. You can have different like perspectives as to how things should be as an American, right? But there's also something to be said about certain parts of the debate not necessarily forwarding the discussion, right? Like when you have someone promoting a bigoted idea, like, do you really want that as part of the national discussion? Right? Do you really want that as part of the national discussion? Do you really want somebody on here talking about black on black crime is a scourge of America, and it's because black people are inferior and that they have a predisposition to violent means, right? They're predisposed to being violent because of the nature of being black. Should that really be a part of the national discussion? Should we really be talking about Jewish people being a super secret cabal of powerful financiers and media moguls who are seeking to destabilize nations and destabilize peoples through the media and their financial means? Should that really be a part of the national discussion? Should we really be saying that Hispanic people are bringing drugs and crime and disease wherever they go? Should that be a part of the national discussion? This is what I'm talking about. This is the danger of that subtle fucking racism, that subtle xenophobia, the subtle Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, that subtle shit that we just kind of pass along is like, well, they just telling the truth. No, man. No. So yeah, man. Meghan McCain said that shit on The View. And that's been proud to be an American.
That I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't forget the men who died, who gave that right to me. And I gladly stand up next to you.
I just thought about it. YouTube will fucking flag this shit. Let me stop that goddamn music. Yo, y'all know what time it is, though.
The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here! The champ is here!
All right. Y'all know what time it is. It's our champ of the week this week here at the Spann Report Podcast. And our champ of the week this week is none other than the great, the venerable, the iconic John Lewis, man. John Lewis passed away at the age of 80 years old this week here. He passed away this week. And thing is, like, I saw a story earlier this week where someone had posted that he had passed away, and it was erroneous information at the time. It was earlier in the week that they talked about him passing away. And when I woke up this morning, I saw that he was trending again, and it was about him passing away. And I was wondering if it was just like kind of backwash from the previous week. But John Lewis did indeed pass away at the age of 80 this past Friday. And John Lewis was a giant in the civil rights movement, man. He was part of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee with the likes of folks like Stokely Carmichael. He spoke at the March on Washington in I believe that was like 1965. I'm sorry if I'm getting the dates wrong. But John Lewis was a giant, man. John Lewis dedicated his life to civil rights. He gave his life to something bigger than himself, which is something that I know a lot of us, we talk about being freedom fighters and everyone's activists and all these other things. John Lewis gave his life to that. John Lewis was became a United States congressman. I believe he served 17 terms in the House of Representatives. A giant of a man. I don't know if we will ever be able to give John Lewis the amount of credit that he deserves here at the Spann Report Podcast. But I did, and I was able to find a video of him talking about when he was a young man and when he did speak at that March on Washington. And I was able to find it, and I believe that it's just apropos to kind of play that now. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me. Check this out, y'all.
We started organizing. We were able to bring more than 250,000 people to March on Washington. And we all had to prepare a speech. I was very young, 23 years old, had all of my hair and a few pounds lighter.
I have the pleasure to present to this.
When A. Philip Randolph said, I now present to you young John Lewis, the National Chairman of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee.
Brother John Lewis.
I looked to my right. I saw hundreds and hundreds of young people who had been involved during the early days. Looked straight ahead. I saw this sea of humanity. Then I looked to the left. I saw young black men and young white men up in the trees, trying to get a better view. And then I said to myself, well, this is it. And I looked straight ahead again. And something said to me, go for it. And I opened my mouth and I started speaking.
We march today for jobs and freedom. But we have nothing to be proud of. Hundreds and thousands of our brothers are not here. but they're receiving starvation wages or no wages at all. Those who have said be patient and wait, we must say that we cannot be patient. We do not want our freedom gradually, but we want to be free now. The time will come when we will not confine our marching to Washington. We will march through the South, through the streets of Jackson, through the streets of Danville, through the streets of Cambridge, through the streets of Birmingham. We must say, wake up, America, wake up, for we cannot stop, and we will not and cannot be patient.
Hi, YouTubers. I'm excited to get.
All right. Ironically, that was on the OWN network. You know, niggas be mad at Oprah Winfrey. But yeah, man. That man said he was 23 years old when it happened. 23 years old. I couldn't imagine me at 23 years old doing that. Truthfully speaking, shit. 40-year-old Spann would probably punch 23-year-old Spann right in the fucking face, man. Like, that's just what it is. And like, to know that man was out there doing what he was doing, not like, it wasn't just the speech at the March on Washington. It was the sit-ins, it was the marching, it was the getting beaten by like police officers while marching on behalf of others to gain their civil rights, man. Like, believing in a cause bigger than yourself and putting your body and yourself on the line in order to fight for that. John Lewis and the likes of him will be greatly missed. And sad to say that, like, he passed away this week at the age of 80. But his memory will live on. His legacy will be remembered. And we remember him well here at the Spann Report, man. Real talk. But yo, man, it's time for us to get on up out of here. We talked a long time. But of course, before we get on up out of here, of course, I need to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Go ahead, leave us those emails, and of course, those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show as well. You can follow me on Facebook. I'm sorry, on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. You can also go to our website, www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls when we decide to put those polls up. You can comment on the show there. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And of course, we really do appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. Also, hit us up on iTunes, Stitcher, and Podcast Addict with a 5-star review, man. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really do appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime, just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But I've been talking for a while. It's been 2 hours and I'm a little tired, man. But it was a lot, man. We had a lot of news to cover. We had a lot of things in pop culture to cover. We had a lot of news, just a lot of shit, man. But I should also let you guys know, I'm not doing the show next week. I'm tired. I'm gonna take a break. I'm not gonna do a show next week. Next Saturday, I might do like a throwback or something like that. But no show next week. We will talk to you guys in like a couple weeks. But until next time, fam, peace.